This is the Motovation Podcast, hosted by Laurie Joy Kingwell and Krissy Vann. That's me. And we're taking you on a little off-roading.
And every single week, we're going to be joined by our dope friend, Richelle from True Grit Moto.
Woo! Hey, I floss.
And every week, we are going to ask each other stupid questions, and we're going to answer them. And why, you may ask? Because we can. All right, this is your Motovation
Off-road edition.
I feel like this is a good segue into me kicking things off because your shirt says dad and your name is Daddy. And I was looking at Google Trends for the year and some of the top trending searches that took place in 2024, the year that was.
Yeah.
And the top relationship-based search terms were open relationship, gaslighting, and daddy.
Okay.
So my question to you is, do you feel, based on the fact that those are the highest search terms that we have, do you think that the traditional relationship or traditional relationship dynamics will be no longer as the years continue to crank forward? Especially with the way online dating has like really decimated a lot of the ways we traditionally would look for a partnership or a life partner.
Okay, rephrase that question again. Like it's going to change up to traditional way that we meet people.
Well, I just think like traditional goals in a dating relationship. Like if you think about when we grew up, it was, I mean, especially where I was like in small town, small city, it was like you're going to date, you're going to find a person and then you're going to get married and you're going to be happily ever after. And even if you're not happy, you're going to stay married because marriage is the tradition and the institution. Whereas I feel like goals are changing for people. And I don't know whether it's a byproduct of people are exhausted with the game of it all, or if what we want is really changing and evolving, because there is quite literally a buffet. Hence the fact we have open relationship, then gaslighting, because so many partnerships, people are like scrambling in the dating universe. So it's janky as fuck. And then daddy, because people like fun with daddy.
What about mummies? What about the mummies? I think that for sure it's going to change, and it already is in a drastic way for like, there's so many different reasons though. Cause like, yes, the way that dating is taking place today and that kind of like almost like dopamine hit of the next person. And is there another thing that's better than that thing? And that, you know, that pull factor to just kind of keep looking, even if something maybe fits and isn't it's just kind of like everything that I've understood it to be. Obviously, I haven't been in that world, not in the way that it is now, right? But you also have like people living longer. And so monogamy and all those different things, like a relationship didn't last like 80, you know, you weren't 80 and 90 years old usually. So now that humans live longer, you have to go through different phases and stages for so much longer as well in marriages. Like Estelle, what's her pickle? She's like a relationship expert. And she talks about how like everybody will have at least 3 main relationships in their life, even if you're married to the same person, because you completely change, right? You got to decide if you want to stay married to that person or move on to the next. And also, the more that we keep breaking these like conditioned ways of thinking how you have to have a relationship, who you need to be attracted to, and what that means if you're attracted to this person or that person, or all these labels and everything, the more that kind of gets decimated, the more people start to like ask themselves questions and get more curious about their sexuality and who they're attracted to, regardless of a gender, who they identify as. And it's one of those things where I think all of it's going to be kind of up for grabs. At first, it'll look pretty messy as it has right now, but I think I'd rather it be messy and everyone kind of find what's working for them than stay in these tight little boxes that I think like the school system.
Daddy likes to be in a tight little box.
Yeah. Daddies don't. No, they don't.
You did not get the sexual innuendo there. Box,
no, I don't.
Vagina, tight little box.
Oh,
Daddy
the box, tight little box.
We are
I was like, I don't think. I was thinking literally like they like it like streamlined. I was like, I don't think they do.
No, I was
Oh,
like,
no
oh,
many
Daddy
daddies.
likes the tight little box.
Yeah. What if they like it slippity sloppy like a hollow alleyway? You might like that too.
I'm going to tell my mother not to listen to this episode. She's going to cringe so hard.
Who is?
My mother.
Oh, my mom's banned from any off-road episodes. I implore you to put a similar ban.
My
into
mom
place.
genuinely thinks they're like so funny. There's nothing we've said so far that she's like, guys, too much. Every single one, she's like, I laughed out loud so hard in Home Sense when I was like wherever she is listening.
To the comment to your question, I would be so curious to find out different like startups of life and where they end in life. Like, do you start up white picket fence? Do you start up, in a religion? Do you start up in, you got two gay moms? Do you start up on the streets? Like, wherever you start in life, show me. And like some sort of survey that shows that like peace results in peace. And like, but I think it obviously, like, we kind of have an answer for that. I feel like if you have a struggle in the beginning, life is going to be hard and you're going to struggle to love. And then, cool things are going to come up where you can call each other daddy, or you can we got sex candles the other day.
Oh, tell me more about the sex candle. Is it like dripping wax on each other or setting the mood?
Oh, we've been trying to spice it up, right? It's been almost like 2 years, and you kind of hit that peak a little bit at 2 years. And so we were like, oh, let's, we were in the mall and we went, Spencer's or something.
Yes.
It's like
yes.
toys and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So we went into Spencer's and we're like, oh, fucking, Hooters memorabilia. Like weird shit all over the place, and like daddy mugs and dick things and whatever. And then we get to the back and there's like all this sex stuff. And for me, I was just kind of like, I don't know, like I'm not really vibing like a crazy sex thing right now. That's not where my head's at. And she's, like, oh, well, what about this? And she's like thinking about it. And I can tell that she's starting to get like discouraged because I'm not really like feeling anything at the moment. And then we see these sex candles, and I think to myself, like, sure, let's fuck around with some sex candles. She's like, sure, let's fuck around with. So that night we get home and I just get right into it. And I'm just like burning this candle. It smells terrible. Her face, I'm hitting her with these drops, and she's just like, ooh. A good way at all. And I was like, I don't know if this is or if this is like, I should get you a cold cloth. Like, are you okay?
I have a question. Did you read instructions on the back first? Did you chat GPT like best way to use my sex
it's
candle?
Richelle.
Okay.
It's
So we might have
Richelle.
missed some
No way, Jose. She just she lit it in the car. She started burning early.
And my stupid ass brain, like, because I like sequence and I like to count things, I'm not even getting sexy with it. I'm dropping dots like meticulously, 1 inch for 1 inch, like nipple to nipple all the way down. And so then when we pull the wax off, like she's like gotten a rash. It looks like ash. And I'm just like, I don't know where the sexy comes in here. I was like, I feel like we got to be high or wasted.
Right?
And we're just fucked up and like we just burn the shit out of each other or something. Like, wow.
Well, it's supposed to be like that pain pleasure side of the coin situation. So I guess if you're like into a little bit of pain play,
I feel like you got to be. I really do. There was this one girl that was interested in me for a hot second, and I had no idea, but we were friends, and she did the needle thing in the skin. Oh,
sorry, huh? Like poke you?
Like poke you and hang you from it.
Wait. Hang you, or
sure,
did you have to hang her?
Like a meat cleaver? Was she like you were like she had a meat cleaver?
Imagining at the butcher.
I know. I'm like, how are you still here with us?
For a paddle.
Silence of the Lambs right now. It feels like we're edging into.
I settled for daddy. That's my spice. He's like, do you want to put the candle wax on you? And I was like, I think I'm good. But I had fun. Did you have fun?
Did you have fun?
Off-road never disappoints. So instead of gaslighting, we landed at candle lighting, and I'm not mad about it.
Oh, it was such a good rhyme. I think wherever we're going in the world, we're all just flowing. And it's cool.
Starting to.
yeah, it's cool that we're changing it up and we're like jumping into where it's like we call each other daddy and it's open, you know, and we're cool about it. There's certain religions obviously that will stray away from this. Like, you know, there's people out there still soaking, which is, you know, whatever.
Oh yeah, I just heard about what I've heard about it in the past, but I just heard it yesterday. Do you know what soaking is, Krissy?
I don't.
Okay, well, the way it was described, and it's a good way to say it, is like think of a hot dog bun. It's like Mormon religions and stuff when they want to have sex, but it's like they can't have sex because they're not married or whatever. So it's like a hot dog bun is like the vag, and then the wiener going in the hot dog, and it just has to sit there. And so long as there's no thrusting or any movement, then it's like you're good. Like the, you know,
it's
the
like a cock cocoon.
Yeah. Yeah. You just have it. You just hold it in the cock cocoon. You soak it. Can't move it.
Yeah,
And the bishops that be are like, you're good. You're still a virgin. You're fine. It's fine. Bro. Everything's fine. Blessed be. That is soaking. That's wild that you just said that. Because like, when do you hear the word soaking? And they were going on and on about it on the show I was watching yesterday.
Like if she's like, do you want to bang soak? And she's like, stop.
Like if I ended up with a dude and they were just like, let's just soak, that's an instant, this is not going to work out.
If you think about it, like, oh, we can't move. Like, of course you're going to move. How do you not move? Sorry. Like, nobody's going to their bed like, soaking. I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that. I'd be like, you're fucking moving. I can see you moving. You're moving. Your dick is moving. Or the vagina, the butt, everything's someone's moving. Liar. Someone's
flexing their dick inside of me. That counts as moving, sir.
The butt, don't move too fast. Don't move too fast.
Just.
Do you know what is wild though? How like guys can move their dinks up and down, like it's like an arm. They just like they can move it, and I just thought that was the weird because it's a muscle within it, so it makes sense. But I'm also like, why?
Dude, can you get him and show us?
Yeah, Dave. We came in right now.
Big Dave, you're up.
That's cool.
Yeah, you're like, what is in there? What's
wild?
I remember my friend's or older brother did it when I was sitting across the living room from him, and he's like, hey, what's up? You want to see something? And I was like, for sure. And he just sat there, and then in his pants, I was like,
I mean, that sounds a little harassy, but
interesting. I was like, what's happening?
You're like, funny, but me too.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
you know? Yeah. Oh. Well, we're going to have to talk to HR, but that is funny.
All right. Who's up next?
I was going to say, I don't even remember the question.
That's the best
and then
part.
I'm like, oh, no, I do. No, I do. Okay. So for 3 gals that for all purposes at this moment look like they will not be birthing babies as much as we can predict the future by our own choice. The idea of it, what's the thing that made you the most like, oh my God, this is what I'd be the most scared of if I was to ever give birth and or be pregnant, give birth, whatever. And what would I also be like, oh, I wish I would have got that part of that experience in this lifetime, but I'm good that it, you know, if it hasn't happened, obviously. But so what's your like worst fear and the thing that you would like to experience about it?
Having sex.
And are we talking about physical or emotional answers? Well, just because you were like the pregnancy. Okay. Gotcha. Fair.
Yeah.
All of it. All of it scares me. I'm not into it. I like the idea of a child. I want to dress it. I want to talk to it. I want to play. I want to do all the things that have to do with a baby already being born. I feel like I don't have the maternal instincts that someone that has this body should have. I guess if I was to get pregnant, you would just figure it out. But it would be would be the physical act of how to get pregnant. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want a turkey baster. I don't want a penis. I don't want none of that. I don't want any spermies anywhere near any of that. But then it is a beautiful thing, really. It is kind of cool that we can just like, create a fucking human. So
not wild.
I do want a kid eventually. It's $20,000, but we'll get there. And I just don't have the instincts for it. So I'm not so much grossed out by it by any means, but I just don't have the like want, need, anything any of it. I don't know. It's a weird one. Daddy doesn't want it.
Daddy don't want it.
Okay. So on the like I'm twofold. I'm going to give you two. So from like the emotional side of things, I had a lot of parent-like responsibilities growing up. So it makes a lot of sense that as an adult, my freedom would be the thing that I would fear losing the most. I like living a life that I can do what I want, when I want, how I want, by my own design at all times. And it's not that you can't infuse that if you have children, but at the end of the day, you're cultivating a life for the kids that you are raising, and it does change that dramatically. I'm going to go physical on the not wants. Oh my God. Like, I don't want it to become one situation from my vagina and my asshole, like when it rips, like those crazy tears through the land. Like, I've had one hemorrhoid in my life, and that caused me enough problems. I couldn't imagine just like ripping out my asshole. Bless those souls that have gone through that, because it just seems so fucking traumatic. And then like, it's not like you get a break being like, we'll just keep your baby here till you're ready. Like, you have to start raising the human with a broken asshole. I just no.
Wait, Freud, how did you get rid of it?
It was a long journey, actually.
It was a journey.
Like, you basically have to put a suppository up your asshole. Yeah. It's like a little, and it just like, so I've never been or forayed into anal play, which is like a new land that I'm opening my
This
horizons.
is how you entered it with hemorrhoids.
And maybe this is why I'm like, oh no. It's like, I know what it's like when an asshole acts up. But like, what I didn't know until you put something in there is like, it reaches a point, your butt just accepts it, and it's like bloop, 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 and it just takes it away. See, I know that you know this, Laurie, from your laxative one.
My constipation, where it just like, at first it's like tries to spit it out. No, thank you. And then it's like, well, maybe. And then just sucks it right up.
And it just kind of like does it on its own accord. You're like, oh, bye-bye. And I kind of understand, because I remember talking to this emergency room nurse that was sharing all the hilarious things that people have lost in their assholes, because it's like they get creative, and sometimes the asshole just decides, I'm going to keep you, and you can't just eject, and then they have to go get. So anyways, that's what you have to do for that. As for what I would miss, I feel like like it's like the adult relationship with a child, I think would be so cool. I think of the relationship that I have, although sometimes trying, with my own mom as an adult, and having that friendship component that's really genuine, and seeing your parent like a human as they are walking in the world versus just this figure, and vice versa. I think that would be very cool to experience. But all the in between, anti-life is the life for me. But respect to all the people that are raising the people I get to be auntie for, because that's an incredible, incredible experience. It's just not for me.
Yeah. Would you ever adopt, Krissy?
No.
Right.
Not like no. The only
Krissy's like gross.
To be honest, even like when dating, at first I didn't think I would date anyone with children. Now I'm dating, it's like adult children. Good with that. Like, but I don't think that I would date anyone with young children. I've not signed up for this intentionally. I think that would be a deal breaker for me for sure. But adult kids, same thing, where I'm like, oh, you get the chance to cultivate a relationship. Maybe they have kids and you're like a granny by like, you know what I mean? I was like that. But then it's like, I feel like that's the equivalent of being like anti-granny, you know? You just get to be the cool outsider that can be an influence if you like.
Okay.
Wait, I got to do my baby one. Pain of the birth. The pain of the birth is like.
Would you drug or no drug imaginarily?
Oh, I would
avoid the
drug.
pain.
I would drug for sure. a very low pain tolerance, like when it comes to that type of thing. So I would for sure, I think, yeah, I wouldn't like, I dislike the idea of like drugging up, but I also very much would dislike the idea of going through that kind of pain for, because some people are in there, for, like I have friends that have been in like 36 hours of labor and they're, you're just like, that's unimaginable. Like what? I've had like period cramps for an hour that just about took me out, let alone that.
Preaching to the choir right now. I just took another pill before I joined you.
Ooh, right. So that part was like, I felt like there's this odd thought that ever pops in my mind of like, I can't believe I got to go through this life as a woman and get out of that one. Like this almost feeling of like, how'd I dodge that bullet of like the giving of birth? What's that?
That if you were in another era, it might be different.
Oh, for sure it would be. Yeah. I'd be probably considered like a witch or something. I would have been burned at the stake by now.
There's some people that probably do think we're that. Just go on any child free sub. They hate us.
That's true. This is true. The part that I am like, is like having that little piece and embodiment of like parts of you and parts of the person that you love.
Right.
And seeing that like what that is the part where I'm like, oh, that would have been a beautiful thing to witness that part of it kind of thing is like you coming together with your person.
Yeah.
But definitely, yeah. But so much what you said about like, you just don't, which is ironic enough because I work with kids and my whole life is kids and it always has been kids, even when I was a kid. And I have none of that instinctive pull, like nothing of doing it myself, like nada. Not even a whisper of that, like, oh, I want my own. And if I did ever decide, I would for sure, like I have more of a pull to adopt or to foster than I do to have my own children.
Right.
So if that ever changes for whatever reason, then it's like likely we would foster, which we've talked about in the past and both are open to if that comes. But I don't know if it will, because like, we love traveling. We love our freedom. And I can't, and it's got to be a pretty pull factor to shut that train down.
Do you ever think about like when you get older and, people always say like, oh, my kids will take care of me.
Bullshit.
Visit any retirement home.
And yeah, I was going to say bullshit. I look at all of my friends' parents and what's the biggest thing? You don't visit enough. I wish I saw you more. I would have, no one lived, like it's different than it was, even 50 years ago where everyone kind of lived in the same community in the same towns and were surrounded. Now, that doesn't mean that it doesn't still exist, but it's not the same thing where families are in these little hubs. Everyone's doing their own thing. Everyone's busy with things now more than ever. And when we're older and our kids are older, think of like how busy the world's going to be at that point. There's a better chance that I'm going to be, and I'm cultivating relationships and friendships and all those different things so that when I'm older, I'm not relying on my children that's not my source of companionship. Is like, it's either going to be my person, hopefully. If not, it's going to be my friends that are older and we're doing it together. But no, I think that whole idea of like, well, you'll be alone when you're older. And I'm like, I know many, 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 many older people that have many children and are very alone.
Right.
And so, and I think that's just too big of an ask. And to even have that thought pattern around like, I want to have kids. And that's also a thing where people are like, I want to have kids so I'm not like alone later in life. And you're like, that to me is super selfish. And that's an expectation on your children that's not fair, because then you're bringing them in this world to meet your needs, your legacy, so that you're never alone, so that you're loved unconditionally, like all these parts of yourself. And you're having children to meet those. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but I am saying there's some really unhealthy bits that we as people have had children for reasons that are quite selfish, and they think that it's not, and it is. It's very selfish.
Yeah.
Well, and I also feel like so many individuals, and this obviously doesn't apply to all, so not a blanket statement, but they are so invested in raising their children, and it's such a busy lifestyle that their social circles often diminish greatly. And then all of a sudden, when they end up empty nesters, they haven't maintained or cultivated all those friendships for that mid phase of life with similar interests and things that they want to do. And I feel like that path, people don't really talk about how lonely that can potentially be for individuals, where you're like, and to your point, Laurie, then they are pulling on their children to be the source of entertainment. And adults have social anxiety. So to start later in life, building your social networks is challenging. And you cannot rely on your kids to be the thing to meet the needs, because exactly that, there's no way that the kids of the future aren't way busier than we have. Like, we just juggle more and more and more.
Which in itself isn't also like, and I just want to point to, because that's, well, all of those things. Yes, yes, yes. And I'm also saying, it's not right or wrong either that it's only going to get busier and the kids that become adults are only going to get potentially more detached. Now, that's not healthy either, right? Because we should be cultivating, and family and community should be your most important priorities of connecting and all these things. But the reality that we're looking at, when you kind of break it down, you're like, my odds of feeling more connected are actually more in favor of that happening by me cultivating adult relationships and prioritizing that in my life than it is in the hopes that I will have a deep cultivated relationship with my adult children that I won't feel alone. The odds are just higher. And so just like specifically to that question, whether it's right, wrong, good, or bad, I feel more confident that I'll be less lonely older because of the way I live. Not because I don't have kids, but ultimately
so fucking successful. We can just hire our help and our friends to like serve us, and we'll have like our little butler that delivers us.
At the end of the day, if we all moved in together, we could do that right now. If we all pooled our money and like bought our little hub of a house, we could afford that today. Like ultimately, you don't have to be that successful, even if you just come together and pool your money and just like,
the commune.
Then you're just like the commune. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And you know what? If at the end of the day, I am older and I feel lonely and I'm like, oof, I would have been like, yeah, but you know what? I lived 70 badass years that wasn't lonely up until then. And maybe the last 10 are a bit on the lonely side. Okay. C'est la vie.
Well, we can just go to a retirement home. Apparently they fuck all the time. Like, I would just go. See?
I want to be there for the karaoke. The beans and the karaoke. I'm in. Throw me a chocolate. I'm fine.
Shit they talk about, my godfather's mom's and she's like, they got rid of the salad. Salad's gone. They stopped doing the salad. Now they're doing some sort of bean veggie thing. I'm not into it. They've been doing salads 5 years. They got rid of the salad. It's hot goss in there. There's a lot going on.
There was too much nutrition. They're staying alive too long. They're just like, we have got to fast forward. These beds need to be opened.
Well, ditch the salad.
Ditch the salad. They're like, what the fuck happened to our nutrition? Fucking, my bones are breaking underneath me the last couple months.
Some of them got it pretty good where they're just like, making jokes and doing the thing and they live for freaking ever. And some of them don't get it. I mean, that's just life, I guess.
It's life, man.
Life. Such life. I'm going to be the
life, daddy.
I'm first in the fucking, in the old folks home. I know I will be. God forbid I'm there. Let's do this. I want to be
whatever home you're in. That's where I want to be. You would be a fucking
imagine the hoot we'd
trip. Not what, when.
Well, I already told you all ages ago that when I reached that age, because I was so scared to try the drugs, I'm doing all the drugs. So I'm just going to be your raving, coke high, ridiculous neighbor.
Back again.
She's going to be our addict friend that we're like, is it worth it to send her to rehab? Like, she's older. Is this even work? Is this a thing, a concern? Like,
just all this energy and being like, oh God, she's on speed again. Here we go.
Buckle up. I mean, I'll already not have teeth, so bring on the meth.
see, that would be the other people being like, she's on speed for sure. And all of us would be like, no, that's just literally her energy. Like, no, she's on cocaine. She's not on speed. Speed
Yeah,
and cocaine, the same thing.
I'll buy the fancy drugs. I don't need that street shit.
Yeah.
I wonder what drugs will be in like 40 years, you know?
Oh, good.
Probably
crazy,
terrifying. 'Cause they
scary
keep cutting them
question.
with like terrifying things. So it's probably not good.
For sure. There's going to be some crazy shit going on. The things that they have going on with these AI characters are creeping me right out. And the fact that they've had AI for longer than we have been aware of it, I'm like, what is going on out there? I can't keep up.
We already sound like old people. Look at us doing our thing.
I might not even really be me here today.
Oh,
You. We all know that you are being you sweet little angel pie. So, Krissy, I'm so sorry about Stella, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck.
I know.
I say that because I'm bringing up a dog thing here. God damn it, dogs. We love them.
I know.
Mm-hmm. No bums.
Right? And in this new area, you always got to find your local dog park.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been going to Maritime Museum for I don't know how long. Every foster in the past 10 years or whatever that I've had, every dog I've ever had, I've always gone down to the fucking Kitsilano area. It's always been the dog park area. And that place has some cool people. And then we moved to New West Burnaby. Okay. And we go to this place called Hume Park. Hume.
It's the name of my doctor.
What a dick.
Park is on a fucking level I've never seen before. So we have a guy. The park has all sorts of people. Everybody always meets usually at around 3:30, 4:30 p.m. It's all the same people that go there. And all the dogs, they're growing, they're puppies, they're older dogs dying, such is life. But it is next level insane. Like, I don't know how and where these people come from, but Kitsilano, downtown Vancouver, is just not like it. So I'm going to say a couple people, and then I just am like thinking to myself, like, do I leave the dog park and just go somewhere else? Like, what do you do? You know, Oso gets along with everyone. Doesn't matter what kind of dog it is. He'll fucking get along with you. It's cool. We have a guy that drives a car. He calls himself the dog Jesus. He's there every day. For 30, 40 years. He's like been there since the dawn of time. And he gets along with all the dogs from what we see. And he has something to say about all of them. He doesn't know how to say Oso's name. He calls him Uzo. But
Jesus would know. He's not real Jesus.
He's Jesus. And he just, like, I remember talking to him about dog fights and stuff like that, because this one dog got into a fight with Oso. And his comment was like, dog's going to fight. She's got to fight. And then he shows up with this water bottle and he sprays them in the face and he does this thing. And then we've got a guy out at night and tries to attack them.
Does he? Sorry, whoa. So Jesus baptizes the dogs with water when they misbehave.
He is Jesus. I take it back. That is Jesus. I take it back. He's real.
Real.
It's him.
You can't have a conversation with Jesus without him being totally right every single time. So he must be Jesus. I don't know.
He baptizes the dogs.
He's just a lot.
When they've sinned.
It's next level. There's a dog, Walter, that hops everywhere. I don't know how old he is. And yeah, I was going to say there's this guy or people that have been at night when people are at the park, now that it's a bit darker earlier, have been hopping the fence and like attacking women and stuff. And this is just the beginning of the park problems. Like it's really wild here. It's the Wild West. And so
when they attack the women, what are they doing?
Well, there's this guy, from what I understand, I've never been attacked, but he basically walks up nice and slow, all in his dark clothing, and then he comes up to you and robs you.
That's
And
fucked up.
he's bypassing these dogs, or the dogs are barking, and he's just like steadily walking. There was this one girl, she said that he just walked across the entire field straight at her, and she just started like running the opposite direction. She wasn't sure what to do. But Dog Jesus seems to think that, you know, we gotta cohabitate, and there's a lot going on at this park. So I'm just curious what your guys' thoughts are. You know, what would you do? Would you get involved? Would you call the police?
I was just going to ask, has anyone reported the man attacking the women? Like, is that there's an awareness around this? I mean, let's face it, at this point, our police force does fuck all at this point for assaults. Like, it's happening so often and so much, which is terrifying. But do they know?
They know. The police have never actually been, from what I've seen. They're kind of like, what do you want us to do?
Yeah, unless there's a crime in progress, they can't.
Yeah, they're just like, there's a guy hopping the fence, like walking after women, like robbing them. We kind of need, I don't know what the full conversation.
I'd be bringing an air horn, like one of my little air horns that I have for like the bears and the cats and stuff. I'd be bringing that shit and just like,
everyone loses their dog.
Yeah, because then the dogs would get going and barking, and everyone in mayhem would begin. But like, well, get out of that park, Richelle. Like,
gotta go.
Yeah, like it just feels like there's like, if there's signs that that's dodgy shit's happening left, right, and center. If you keep going, dodgy shit's gonna be at your door. It's gonna come to you, and then you're going like, oh no, what happened to me? And then it's like, well, yeah, it was going to happen.
There's also such kind and awesome people there for the most part.
Choose your time of day then.
Yes.
Yes. So daylight, enjoy the people, but like hedge your bets. Is that the word? Is that this phrase? Hedge your bets? Bet your hedges. Bet your hedges. Bet your hedges, Richelle. Go in the daylight. Bet your hedges. Hedge your bitches. Hedge your bitches and go in the daylight. And stay away from Jesus. He is that's blasphemy. I would be more afraid of pretend dog Jesus.
Really good friends at the dog park, though. I got to be honest. Like we made friends with this lesbian couple, retired.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Hang out with them outside of the dog park.
Yeah, we got lucky, thank God. But you know, I'm all about meeting new people, and like, can you really judge it from Dog Jesus and the burglar? I don't know.
Can you? Yeah, the answer is yes. The answer is a hard yes. You can judge it from people getting burglarized by an unknown assailant that the cops are not doing anything about.
What's your experience at the dog park? Be real with me. I mean, you don't go.
Oh, I love the weird people, but safety is important. And I do feel safe at the dog parks, but like the people are so weird. It's weirder than even like I'm at parks with kids, right? With my work for years, and you get parents. Parents are weird about their kids. They got nothing on dog parents. Dog parents are so weird. And the things that they get protective over is like, no, that's just a dog playing with its tail wagging. And then other people that like their dog is clearly should not be off leash and in the park, and they're like, they're fine. And you're like, they're not fine. And it just and everyone huddles together and follows around their dogs, and it like this over helicopter parenting. I find I love it. Like watching the personality of the dogs brings me so much joy. Like I'll go there once Marley's, passed on, I'll still go because it brings me it's like watching little kids. It's hilarious, but the people are bizarre.
During COVID era, when I lived near George Wainborn Park, and it's not technically a dog park, but essentially the NIMBYs have taken it over, and they're like, this is a fucking dog park city. Too bad, so sad. And my ex and I would set our chairs and just spend every afternoon watching the dogs. And it was so joyful. Obviously, Stella didn't participate. She'd just sit in her chair and watch the dogs because we know she was an asshole with other dogs. But it was hilarious. And we would narrate voices like as if they're having a conversation. Great time. The dog park by my building was fabulous. Like now it's kind of funny because I walk by, but it's like my building collectively mourned Stella because they realized I was walking by and not having her, and they saw the decline, so they knew. And it was like I got so many hugs from my neighbors. It was really nice. Like she was great with people.
Really nice.
Yeah.
It's right behind you, like right in the back alley there.
Yes, because it's mainly it's just really our buildings that utilize it because everyone else goes to do chilling. So it's such a nice community. And it helped me know a lot of my neighbors a lot better through the dog. They're great for expanding your social circles. But to our point about childbirthing and children, like now that I'm single and in this phase of my life, I don't know that I would get another dog for that same reason that it does take away a lot of your freedoms, or there's more considerations when you're looking to do the things. So
we feel that same way.
You gotta
have Marley.
You gotta have a good dog in order for you to be able to be free. If you got a nightmare dog, man, fuck.
Totally.
Yeah. No, there's nothing happening.
Is it me? All right. New year 2025.
Oof.
So when it comes to Google Trends, a book that we all know, Atomic Habits, has top search queries every January since its release. Vision board ideas search up 50% in the last 7 days. So I'm curious, do you have any New Year's rituals that you do? Or do you just kind of roll in, you're like, same shit, different day, new date on the calendar?
I roll in, but not like same day. Doesn't matter because like I reflect throughout the year. I set goals throughout the year, and so I don't have a January this or like this is my thing in the new year. What I do find I do is I start to like think, I guess maybe a little bit. Well, no, I guess that even leads up. I do that anyways. I was going to say of like the trips I want to take and the adventures I want to have and all those things. But I was like, well, I started doing that like a month and some ago. I find that I used to do that way back when, and I fell into that trap like so many other people where you feel like the momentum and the motivation of this moment is going to get you and propel you into a new version of you. And it's just absolutely not how it works. So I was always like, disappointed, frustration, trusted myself less to follow. And so creating, atomic habits that exist within your life that you're consistently just kind of bettering yourself slowly but surely and consistently all throughout the year has worked wonders for me. And so I actually avoid that kind of thinking around like it's the new year versus like, I want to invite this into my life, but like, that's it.
I love that for you. It's not the same for me. Must be nice. I out this year and I'm like, shit went fucking sideways. 2025. I do this every year though. End of the year, and shit always crashes. I'm always like, fuck, I never paid off that debt. My ass is still fat. I need to can't see properly. I'm aging. What do we do? So 25, let's kick it around. Less candles, more outside. And I'm thinking paying off debt, definitely a huge one. I'm just kind of like, do I just sit and do nothing and just pay my bills, work, pay bills? Maybe. Okay. And now that I've got a partner that's on the same trajectory, my dog's not a nightmare, my apartment is gone, and I've got this cutie house. Money, 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 money. That's what I'm thinking. And then on the other half of it, I think I'm going to put a treadmill in my living room because I'm getting layers where I don't want layers, like on my hip.
Okay.
That's a hilarious way to put it.
Let's get out.
I've never heard it this way.
It's
layers.
It's a layer. It's like suddenly I'll like touch my butt, and then it's like before I even hit the butt, there's like a hip point, and then it's weird. It's gaunt is what I hear. I hear the word gaunt, and
Oh, is that a new Gen Z word from your brother we need to learn?
Gaunt means that you're
like sallow in the face.
Yeah.
Like
that means you're like
That's exactly it, but it's my ass, and that's not,
okay.
ass gaunt.
Okay.
my ass is gaunt, and it's
An ass gaunt.
it's gaunt away. Not to it. And then Mexico
Okay.
is always the kickoff these days. I'm loving it. Stack the deck this year. It's going to be a fucking hoot, and next year it's just going to be like a whole nother ball game, I think. So we're really dialing it in, and 2025.
Badass.
Yeah. So that's my goals.
I love that.
Okay. Tackling the ass gaunt.
I fucking love New Year's. I think it's one of my favorite holidays of the year. I've loved it for decades, honestly. And it's never, because whenever I have the conversation with people, they're always like, I hate it. It's like the overpriced dinner and da da da. And I'm like, no. That's never what I go out to do. It is a mindset. I am deeply introspective at the best of times. But there is something about when that Old Lang Syne plays and you get to reflect on that year, whether it's really hard or really good. It makes me so emotional every year where you're just like reflecting on all the changes. And this one will be a biggie because I don't recall in my adult life having gone through so many evolutions of myself in a year. So it makes me so excited. Laurie and I just did an episode about this, which will be coming up because I'm just like, it wasn't a bad year. It was a challenging year, but I really don't view it as a bad year. Like it just like there's something buzzing inside of me after going through all the things of the year. But my thing has never been so much setting resolutions if I'm going to do this or that. Well, I guess it's like my twist on them. I've always tried to acquire a new skill every year. And I actually reflected because 4 years ago, that was cooking. Before COVID made it cool. And even through this whole, like the last couple of weeks, I've been taking care of my family here in Halifax. And I'm like whipping up dishes that have impressed myself. Like I made a white wine mushroom dill sauce yesterday that was so insanely delicious. I was just like, holy shit, look at me go. And I had no idea what the fuck I was doing 4 years ago. And so this year, I would like to learn to shuffle dance.
Oh,
I feel like
got an image of a shuffle dancer in my mind, and I was like, "Oh God, that dance is made for you."
Right? Like I should be a shuffle dancer.
Do you know what that is, Richelle?
Missing from my life.
Please
No.
What is it?
It's kind of like a raver dance where they like it's very quick feet movement where you kind of like jig and jag. I don't know how to describe. You got to look it up, but it's like
a lot of like
it's
turning
just
in circles with cool feet
and kicking your feet out, kicking your feet in, kicking them out, kicking them in, kicking them out. Little turning, little out, back to kicking them in and kicking them out, and it's just like this pattern of kicking your feet in and out. And then doing a quick turn. And it's just really like you build momentum and you get going faster and faster and faster and faster and faster.
Googling now. I gotta know.
Yeah.
It's actually, to be honest, anytime I've actually seen it and I've seen like on social media, someone doing it or whatever, I immediately think of Krissy. Because they're usually wearing glitter, sequins. They're usually, it's your kind of music. It's your music that gives me anxiety. And like, I was like,
can you imagine me in my kitchen? Like I did so much kitchen dancing this year. It was
your neighbors below would be like, what is happening up there? If you were doing that.
Typed in shuffle dancing. God damn it.
Sniffle dancing.
Now we know.
Anybody
Here
into
we go. This is kind of
Anybody want to go to Schniffle Schnanchen?
Can we get progression videos of this? I would love to see the progress.
Yeah, to me, I'm like, to learn is free because all the tutorials are on YouTube. I already dedicated a large portion of my time to dancing in my kitchen. That's my theory of why I'm so joyful. Like people tend to comment on my energy a lot, and I do feel it correlates to the amount I dance by myself in my kitchen.
I love that.
It's so much freaking fun dancing by yourself. Like even Dave's gotten into it. He was like, yeah, I had a little dance party when I was cooking the other day. I'm like, all right, Dave, good for you, bruh.
Was it like full body dancing or just his dick?
I think both. He started with the
What's
penis.
the dick muscle.
And then he brought in his torso. Because I even said, I was like, what was your dancing look like? What kind of dancing? He just showed me. I was like, yeah, that's a full kitchen dance. Good for you.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay.
He's tapping into new versions of himself. Very cool to watch.
God
Oh,
damn.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
Does he have a
That's
vision
cool.
board?
All the-
Actually, I won't. So you read, I just noticed this the other day.
I can't read it, but
It says hobbies, career, friends, parents.
so he does.
This is up all year.
Yes.
Personal, home, love. So, and then it's like spider webbed off of like all the things that he wants to do, prioritize, all those different
What?
things. Yeah. I was doing something it's his office / my little recording place. But anyways, I closed the door. I was like, oh, very cool. It's got it up
Hopefully
there.
none of the loves were surprises where you're like,
They were all other
guess
people's
I'll just
names.
know that.
I was like, oh, I haven't met them. Who's that? He's like, fine, new love.
Oh,
does he mean like a
Stacy?
hobby? Yeah. Stacy. I hope she's fun. Oh.
fuck.
I guess Laurie's gonna have a threesome in 2025.
Stacy, isn't there a song that's like Stacy
His
something?
mom has got
Going on. That's what it is.
It's been real. It's been real.
It's been real.
Are we gonna
been
do
real.
Years, my loves.
session?
You just went off-roading with the Motovation Podcast, hosted by Laurie Joy Kingwell and myself, Krissy Vann.
And of course, a special thank you to Richelle from True Grit Moto.
Whoop, faucet.
Never miss an episode by hitting like or subscribe. Connect with us on Instagram at Motovation Podcast and visit our website at themotivation.com. And in the meantime, full pegs, full throttle.
I think this is good though. It's like healthy, you know? Like people will be like, oh my God, I don't
What?
floss.
It must be so hard not to laugh to get through this intro.